Hey, welcome to Yellow Dog Farm. Man, is it raining. Well, the rain started last night around sunset, and the forecast calls for it to come all the way until sunrise tomorrow, non-stop. If you watch our channel, you know we're here in Charleston, South Carolina, and the water is so bad downtown that they've had to stop running ambulances to the hospital there. The roads are not passable, so we don't expect outrageous flooding like that here on the farm, but I'll take you around and show you just how darn wet it is around here. It's really something. It's so wet out that Miss Lucy refuses to come outside. Okay, it's time for some boots, rain pants, and then my heavy-duty raincoat. So we'll see how dry this keeps me. I'm on my second set of clothes for the day, so I went through a set, mucking out the barn and getting all the normal morning chores done. So we'll go take a look at how the place is going. So we bought this little kiddie pool for baby chicks when they're hatched to stay in, and if it's any kind of a rain gauge, you can see how much water's come down since last night. Even the chickens are hiding out here in the weather. It's they'll go outside and they go look for stuff and scratch around, but then they just run right back here in the cover and dry out for a little bit. So pretty darn wet. Here's a look at our back pasture. I'm going to zoom in here so you can see. So that water that you see right there shouldn't be there. We'll go take a peek at it in a minute, and then you can see all that water along the back of the pasture. I made a previous video where I dug a ditch that drains all that away in a small pond. I'm gonna guess that it's completely full, so we'll go take a peek. One thing that we're super happy about is that the barn is saying super dry. You can see the pad of gravel that we've got it sitting on. It's raised above all this water, so we're super pleased to see that happening. We got some really good advice when we first built the barn that whatever you do, make sure it's set up like this, so it's paying off now. Well, I guess this is how you find low spots on your farm. This area is normally completely bone dry, even if we get an inch of rain. So to see it filling up like this is really something. I've got a drainage ditch, you can't see it, but right about there, and it goes back about 50 or 60 feet, about 2 feet deep. So that's clearly not enough, and if we get a chance to get another mini excavator in here, we'll be clearing that out so we can go as soon as possible. Mr. Bo thinks it's time for hay, so they're wet but not cold. It's actually over 50 degrees, so they don't want any blankets. They're not interested. What they're really interested in is hay. So there's Miss Daisy. She's the one that's most insulted. She really doesn't like the rain, so they're all, and oh, here comes Zico. So he's checking it out too. And Miss Pepper's right there. So the whole herd is kind of floating around here. Santy's out there somewhere. Oh, there he is, way over there. He's the only one that's smart enough to get on the high side to where he can get some nice grass. So he's enjoying things. So let's move on. So that's about a 2-foot deep pond that I dug out earlier, and I actually have a video of us putting a drainage pipe right about where the buggy's parked. It's underneath there, and you can't hardly see it, but the mouth of the pipe is right about there. So the ditch is completely full, and there's the back of the pasture. So Lake Yellow Dog is full, and we've still got another, call it 12 hours of rain. So this pasture is completely full, and we'll probably end up blocking the horses out of it so that they just don't get in all this muck. There's a bit of a wind blowing, so I stopped and took this shot out of the buggy. For some reason I'm able to get better shots on this side, but you can see just how full that pasture is with water. You know, I had no idea how big of a deal it'd be to get this drainage down when we moved here to the farm. So one other culvert we put in is in a low-lying area behind our first pasture that we put in, and I put in a 6-inch drain pipe to go over the trail. I thought, you know, it won't get used all that much, but take a look at it now. It's really something. So this is kind of just a wet area that you can see coming down there, and we didn't used to have this drain pipe. We just nearly get stuck in the trail all the time. So you can see it's about halfway full, and it's a 6-inch drain pipe, so we're getting a good 3 inches of water flowing through here. And sorry for all the bright there, and you can see how quickly the water's moving through the pipe, and then it moves off to this area here, which is a 10-foot deep ditch. Sometimes we like to call it a creek, but it was really a drainage ditch that was put in, and we'll go look at that next. So this is the main drainage ditch that runs the length of our property, and thank goodness for whoever put it in here. This is what allows us to not have flood insurance. And I know you don't have a point of reference, but the normally this is dry, or it just has the littlest dribble of water coming through it. I would say I looked at it about 7 o'clock in the morning, and it's coming up on noon now, and the water is moving twice as fast as it was before, and it's up several inches. So we'll go take a look at it later on in the day, but man, it is really coming up quickly. So let's run over and take a peek at the swamp and this creek a little bit further down and see what we've got. So this is further down the ditch, and you can see those boards there. They used to span all the way across it as a primitive bridge, so it's all been washed away, and there's pretty darn good amount of water with additional stuff trying to float down. So I'm really hopeful this doesn't get all jammed up and create a pseudo dam, if you will. Once again, the water's moving much faster than it was earlier today. Let's head over to the swamp and take a look there. Well, welcome to Shrek Swamp. You can hear the heavy raindrops falling on the canopy of the buggy here. And believe it or not, the swamp is the area that looks like it's affected the least. It's always really slow moving water, so you don't expect that you would see something moving quickly there. And it's really hard to tell if the water's even coming up any. I'm gonna guess that the water's spreading out into low-lying areas rather than coming up. So we'll continue to watch it throughout the day. Cool sign, huh?